So this LinkedIn Live conversation is with Nicole Goode, who's the author of Optimal You. Let's have a picture of the book. There we go. Oh, it's like two Nicoles. This is amazing. Yeah. So if you haven't got a clue what's going on, I'm interviewing each of the 22 Practical Inspiration authors shortlisted in this year's Business Book Awards. And Nicole, I'm absolutely delighted that you were shortlisted. And I'm really delighted to get a chance to just kind of dig a little bit behind the backstory of the book and share that with a few more people as well. So why did you write it?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's lovely to have a chat with you and talk about this. So I'm, for those who don't know, I'm a certified functional medicine practitioner and I run a functional medicine clinic. I started out actually working with people with chronic illnesses and autoimmune disease, but the book, so it's called Optimal You, Supercharge Your Energy, Strengthen Your Immunity. And it really is kind of born from my own personal journey with health, as well as my experience in clinic. And it's aimed at people who are either navigating a chronic illness or those who are experiencing those symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, stress, burnout, all of these symptoms that we really commonly just push aside. And we're really good at doing this. And we accept them as well. And actually, that's what I did. That's my backstory. And if left, they can actually make us really ill. And I found a functional medicine practitioner for my own health and I had burnout and had a lot of sort of those stress related symptoms that just combined with a viral trigger that just happened. It was just one of those things that, you know, we all get viruses, we can't stop it. And I just got more and more sick and I actually couldn't work for many years. I was at med school at the time, studying neuroscience, and I was just unable to work. I was unable to do anything. I just kept pushing through. And for me, and that ended with autoimmune disease. But really, it came from that experiencing of burnout and these symptoms that so many of us have, and we continue to push through them because, you know, we just do, right? Most of us are.
They're almost a badge of honor.
Yeah, it is. It is these days. It's a badge of honor to be busy. That's what I always say to people that I work with, and we've got to try and reframe that because a lot of us are high performers, a lot of us are perfectionists, and we see this. You know, if you're busy, you're successful, and that's what we all aim for. And that really is what this book is about. It's about helping people to optimize their energy and to support and balance their immune system so that we don't reach the point of getting a chronic illness or an autoimmune disease off the back of these symptoms that we see as normal. And they're not normal. We shouldn't accept them, but most of the time we do. And I think as well as being, you know, because I've been on the patient side of it prior to being on the practitioner side of it, it did give me good insight as well into the gaps that we see in healthcare. You know, so too often people are dismissed. If you've got fatigue, I mean, I don't think people go to the doctors if they've just got fatigue and, you know, they're just feeling a little bit not great and brain foggy. And, you know, we put it down, particularly as women as well. We're really good at, you know, putting it down to hormones or something like that. And if you do go to the doctors, quite often they will test you and they'll just say, you know, your tests are normal. Everything looks fine. Like, you know, go away. You're probably just a bit stressed. And actually, we're still feeling kind of ill and not great and not performing to our best as well. And I think with, you know, we're talking about business books here. And for all those people who are writing business books, they're running businesses. You know, everybody's who is running their own company or they're working in a high powered job, in a high pressured job. You know, it's really easy to just sort of say, well, you know, I need to be able to perform, so I'm going to push through. But actually, you'll perform better if you optimize your energy and you balance your immune system. And these were the two key things that came through for me. If we really work on our mitochondrial health, so they are what produce the energy, and we work on balancing our immune system, it will stop us from getting sick. It stops us from burning out. And that is the biggest trigger for chronic illnesses and people becoming more and more ill. And that longevity picture is becoming bigger and bigger. People are much more aware of that these days. So yeah, long answer, but that's the sort of the reason.
Really well expressed, and so a couple of things I just want to pick up. One is the mitoimmune system, which was revelatory to me. I was like, I can see how these two things work. Yeah. Yes, okay, right. So really interesting. And the other thing that I was fascinated by when you first talked to me about the book is the fact that it's not so much aimed at remediation; it's more aimed at optimizing performance. And I think that that's a very underserved niche. And oh my goodness, if people could just get hold of this before it all tips over the edge rather than after.
And that really is a key with functional medicine is and it is the way of the future with medicine is, unfortunately, with healthcare or with conventional medicine, they step in at the point where you tick all the boxes to be diagnosed with a disease. And that's what they're meant to do. They do it very, very well, and we need that care. But there is a whole period before you tick all the boxes and before you can get diagnosed with something. So for me, diagnosis was 15 years from when I started with that burnout and stress and feeling ill and unable to work. It was 15 years before I ticked every single box to get a diagnosis from the conventional medicine system. Until you tick those boxes, you can't get treatment.
Yeah.
So there's a long period of time where actually your health is just declining and you're not really doing anything about it. And I always say it's not really healthcare, it's sick care. It's care to look after us once we're sick, which is great. We need that. If we're sick, we need healthcare. But actually what we should be doing is stepping in and helping people to not accept these symptoms, to optimize their body so that they don't reach that point. That's always going to be the goal. It's better for everybody. And people, especially people who are, high performers and wanting to stay on top of their game and, be able to work long. People come to me and they sort of say, well, am I going to have to give up my job? And I'm like, that's not the point. The point is that we optimize your health to the point that whatever job you want to do, you can go and do it. And your body is capable of managing that. And the key things that I've found is, like you said, the mitoimmune system is the mitochondria. They are the batteries in every single cell in our body. So we've got to have those optimized. We've got to be producing ATP, and that's the molecule of energy, and it's the mitochondria that do that. And we have to actually produce. So this is so throughout the book there are pearls in the book which are little clinical stats, and one of them in there is that we have to produce our own body weight in ATP every single day. And this is being produced by something that is inside our cells. So it's not even, you can't even see it through a microscope, it's tiny. And that's how much of it we've got to produce daily. So if they're not optimized and they're not working well, we're not going to have the energy that we need to perform at a high level. And likewise with the other side of it, our immune system, if the mitochondria are damaged, the immune system becomes impaired, and then we get sick all the time, and we're then at risk of sort of all these chronic illnesses. But I really wanted it to be kind of a science-backed guide as well. I think the wellness industry as well is so inundated with information these days. You can get so much information. Yeah, and a lot of it is misinformation. And I think it's confusing as well. And I really wanted this to be sort of a science-backed guide that is people know is a trusted source and something they can pick up and sort of say, I'm getting good, solid, science-backed information. And use that to help them as well. That was really important to me, that it had that sort of science backing behind it.
And I think the whole idea of functional medicine, which I've only really come to in the last sort of 5-6 years, I just love the idea that you are so much more powerful than you think in terms of how you manage your health. Because actually, if you don't think about it, the 21st century Western lifestyle is not optimizing your health. But there's so much that you can do nutritionally, lifestyle choices that it's going to really change.
It's not at all. And actually, the world we live in, what we have to remember is, from a genetic perspective, we actually haven't changed that much from cavemen. Genetically speaking, we're really not that different. But the world around us has changed at a rapid rate. And it changes even if you just look back to when you were a child, it's changing at a rapid rate.
That is a long time ago, but yes, no, I do take your point.
and that change, our body is not built for, so we have to come up with ways of actually, how do we manage this, and how do we keep ourselves optimized and keep ourselves well.
And your book is one of those. I mean, this is the joy of being a publisher, isn't it? You get to publish what you need to read. So thank you for that. I've got a huge amount out of it personally. I do want to ask you though, before we finish, Nicole, what was your reaction when you found out that it had been shortlisted?
So I wasn't down in London. I was actually watching on the live stream, and I was completely overwhelmed. I think in the best way. I don't think any of us go out there to write a book. I don't think any of us sort of say, I'm going to write a book because I want to win an award. We write a book because we want to get information out there. We want to help people. There's always reasons behind why we want to do it. I'm an avid reader as well. I love books. I love the world of publishing. I think in a different life, I would have gone into publishing. I love books and writing and all of that sort of thing. So reading for me, talking about that stress relief, reading for me is that thing that is stress relief for me. It's always been a huge part of my life. So that was why I wanted to write the book. I think none of us, go out hoping to win awards. But when we do, I think it's just that sort of that validation, I think, that you've done something that is out there, that is helping people, that people are reading and liking. I celebrated by speaking to my family and rang the team straight away to tell them all. Mostly just grateful to be part of such a huge group of, especially from Practical Inspirations. There's a huge group of authors who have been nominated, who are writing all these brilliant books, and just to be sort of in with them is great. And obviously looking forward to September as well.
10th of September, we'll be there. Frocks on. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be such a great night. Nicole, thank you so much. Firstly, for writing the book. Secondly, for your time today. And finally, good luck. Just good luck for 10th of September. But whatever happens, with this book, it's such an act of service. So thank you for it.
Thank you very much.